So nice. Hello everybody, my name is Solomon Bar and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now if you didn't already know, I was on this year's 2019 BBC's The Apprentice. Now after taking part in the series and subsequently getting fired, I haven't publicly talked about my experience on the show. So this video is the first of a series of videos which talks about my experience being a part of The Apprentice and what I got out of the show. So without talking too much, I've got a cup of tea right here and I'm ready to talk to you about my experience on being The Apprentice. So the two topics I want to talk about today is firstly why I joined the show and secondly how I got onto the show. A lot of people are sending me messages on social media. How did you get on the show? What kind of personality do you have to get on the show? What kind of criteria do you have to meet? And I'm going to talk about my personal experience of what I think helped me to get onto The Apprentice. So the first reason why I applied for the show was actually quite straightforward, and that reason is that I'm a massive fan of The Apprentice. When I first moved to the UK aged 5, one of the few shows that stuck out to me and resonated to me was The Apprentice. I used to watch it every single year it came on and I resonated with the people on the camera, you know, the confidence they had and the self-belief they had and the business ideas and all the challenges and hurdles. I really enjoyed watching it and I really enjoyed watching them do these challenges. And I think I actually said to myself at one point that one day, hopefully, fingers crossed, when I'm old enough, I want to be on The Apprentice. The second reason why I applied for The Apprentice was actually because I am massively passionate about business. Throughout my teenage years, I've always been passionate about business and I've always tried new things and new ventures with friends, from sports companies to virtual reality and technology companies, and even in school we did this thing called Young Enterprise, which is a scheme that gets young people involved in business, creating products and putting it out there for the world to see. And some of you know that my first love and passion is sport, and to be able to translate those skills into business, you know, those personal attributes like persistence, determination, you know, competition, being the best you can be, performing, all that kind of stuff. You know, I love translating it and putting it into the world of business, and I think I really thrived the moment I stepped into the business scene. And that's why I thought being on the show would give me a massive advantage and a massive learning experience when it comes to business. The third reason why I applied for the show was actually because my girlfriend saw the application process was open and she suggested that I applied for it. Now, like I said, you know, I've always wanted to be on it. I've watched the show since I was young and I've always been passionate about business, but it never actually struck me to go to the BBC page and sign up. And it wasn't until my girlfriend said, listen, you know, the forms are open, they're taking in a new batch of intakes, do you want to do this? And I had to take that leap of faith and sign up and, you know, talk about myself and submit that application form. So it wasn't actually until my girlfriend suggested to do it that I actually went ahead and signed up. Now, the fourth and final reason why I applied for The Apprentice was because I'm very passionate about diversity in different areas in society. I compete in the 100-meter sprint for visually impaired athletes, and I'm currently training towards a Paralympic or world competition. Now, why I love the Paralympics is because it's one of those things in the world that showcases, displays, and celebrates diversity, especially in the topic of disability. All around the world, we have the Olympics, we have these incredible athletes that go out there and perform absolute incredible feats of human potential, and the Paralympics says, you know what? All disabled people can do the exact same thing, and here's a platform for them to be able to do this. I absolutely love that. Now, when I got into the world of business, I realized it wasn't as much of a level playing field. There wasn't as much conversations about diversity and about disability participating in business. There wasn't so many people that were willing to be open to the idea of disabled people having businesses and running successful businesses. There weren't that many role models in the world of business that are disabled. So for me, in the same way, I was passionate and devoted and loved contributing towards this thing that is the Paralympics. I wanted to start seeing the same thing in the world of business. I wanted to start seeing more diversity, more inclusion, and more discussion in the world of disabled people partaking in business and entrepreneurialism. entrepreneurialism. Bingo. Like I said, I think this is the time where they're starting to bring in the 2020 batch of intake, and I'm getting a lot of messages on social media saying, how did you get on? You know, what are the criteria? What do I need to have in mind when doing the applications and going through the stages of trying to get onto the Apprentice? So rather than telling you everything, I'm just going to talk about my personal experience. Now, the first thing that I think helped me get onto The Apprentice was confidence. I think confidence is absolutely paramount and very key when it comes to participating in something like The Apprentice. You know, especially in that intro where you see the candidates for the first time, you see them, you know, talking so highly of themselves. I am confident, I am mean, you know, I am the biggest and the best business person there is. No one, you know what I mean? All that kind of talk, you know, all that kind of inflation of the ego, trying to, you know, scare off the competition. Not necessarily that specifically, but just that sort of energy, you know, that sort of confidence. You have to come with that, because The Apprentice is a very ruthless and rigorous process, and if you're not confident and you're not able to speak up for yourself and you're not able to present yourself fully, you're gonna struggle. So for me, when it came to the competitions, you know, I really put my best foot forward. I talked about all my positive attributes. I talked about all of my achievements in life. You know, I talked about what I believe I can achieve for Lord Sugar. You know, I was loud, I was bold, I was charismatic. You know, when it came to the taster days where you did samples of, you know, what it would be like to be on task, you know, I really put myself forward for PM, really, you know, standing out and showing that I'm worthy of being on the show. The second attribute that I believed helped me to get onto The Apprentice, and I've kind of briefly talked about this already, is passion. You know, you really have to have passion when it comes to business and when it comes to presenting yourself in front of the camera. If you don't have passion, you know, if you're dry and, you know, you're not confident, you don't put your best foot forward, no one's really going to be interested in watching you, or they're not really going to want to invest in you. You have to seem as if you're passionate. Not even seem, you have to be passionate about business. You know, if you want to secure that investment, you have to just show that your passion is just oozing out of you. You know, I want to make my business successful. I want to make it grow. I want to get that investment from Lord Sugar and, you know, make it a success. You know, I want to, you know what I mean? Just be passionate. Like, show your passion, show your determination, and it will help you. You know, and that's what I had. I had so much passion and conviction, not only in myself, but in business. You know, I could talk about my inspirations in business. I could talk about my business idea. I could talk about ideas that I love. I talk about, you know, my history, like just everything. Just talk about business and be passionate about it. The third thing that I believe helped me to get onto The Apprentice was having a solid business plan. You know, the reason why you're going onto the show is because you believe that your business plan, along with collaboration with Lord Sugar, along with the 250k investment, is going to create this incredible business empire. And the fundamental foundation of a business is a business plan. So it has to be clear, it has to be straight to the point, it has to have information, it has to have numbers, it has to have description, it has to have everything. It has to be bulletproof. If your business plan isn't bulletproof, if it's not clear, if someone can't understand your business plan in one sentence, you know, it's going to be hard to invest in. So you have to be able to communicate your business plan both verbally and on paper in order to, you know, hopefully get in. And that's exactly what I tried to do. You know, I got a solid business plan. I wrote out everything. I got all the numbers, all the projections, everything, you know, and I made it clear and concise to the point where even if I gave it to a 10-year-old, they'd understand the business plan. The fourth and final thing I believe that helped me to get onto The Apprentice is following simple instructions. I really love this quote, and it says, "Common sense is just not that common." And if you think about it, that's kind of true. And what I mean by that is following simple instructions. It seems common, but not a lot of people do it. And I'll give you a couple of examples. When it came to the part of the application process, there were days where we had to go to an office in London to present ourselves and talk about our business, etc., etc. Now, part of the criteria of that was to wear formal or business clothing. And I kid you not, there were people that went to these days wearing tracksuits, wearing massive big yellow banana hats like the guy from Curious George, like wearing massive butterfly patterned dresses. Simple instructions. You've been told to wear formal business attire and you're rocking up in an Adidas tracksuit. If you can't follow those instructions, how do you expect to, follow instructions when it comes to filming or in the boardroom or Lord Trigger? If one day he does invest in your business and he asks you to do X, Y, and Z and you don't do it, or you want to do it your own way, like, you have to be able to follow simple instructions. And I did every single thing they asked in the criteria, when it came to all the criteria about the business plan, all the criteria about the outfit, all the criteria about my personal circumstances, my projections of my business, keeping it secret. There are people, something as simple as don't talk about it until A, you're on the show, and B, we're ready to talk about it in public. Some people went to their first audition and started hashtag tweeting, made this onto The Apprentice, hashtag, first round tick. They're gonna check, and you haven't followed the rules, so why should you be on the show? Don't talk about it. Just follow the instructions and you should be good. And that's it, guys. That is the first of the series of me talking about my experience on The Apprentice. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope that you look forward to the next video in this series. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there will be more content coming your way. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.